What is up, everyone? It's Saturday night. That means that it is time for the comic show. This is show number 8. Again, got a lot of books this week. It really, the main ones are a couple pretty good sized runs that I got, full runs of. Those actually account for like 40 some odd books. So we'll run through these. I've got 3 big stacks here. You can't really see them because they're out of the camera view, but I got 3 pretty good sized stacks. So we've got the main books: Avengers, some She-Hulk books, some Captain America annuals. I've got some major keys, and I've actually got a couple slabs to show you guys that I picked up this week. So pretty excited about that. So let's start off here. This is a little something, this is a little bit different. This is the Foom magazine. This is number 3. So this is the Spider-Man covers, the Spidey, I guess the Spidey version. Inside it kind of shows, it's got a list of all the different Spider-Man books that they had released at this point. So this was fall of 1973, so that's kind of a cool cover. And it's got the back there, got the Avengers on the back there. So it's pretty cool. I found it. It was a good price, so I thought, why not? So next up is Hulk 103. I got that this week. It's kind of cool. The book's in pretty good shape. It does say that the centerfold is detached from one staple, which I'm not sure I knew that when I bought it, so I was kind of upset when I found that out, but it's not the end of the world. It's not a major key book. It's an early Hulk. The second book, so his solo series started at 102. This is Hulk 235. It's got Machine Man on it. This actually came with a run of Machine Man 1 to 10, I believe, and you'll see that in here. They threw this book in there also, so that was kind of cool. I didn't have that book, so it was cool to pick up. And then we've got Strange Tales. This is 116. So you can see the Thing battling Johnny Storm, Human Torch there. So that's a pretty cool book. That's in pretty good shape. And then we've got Captain Marvel number 2. So these books aren't really in kind of any order. They're kind of the single, just kind of picked up 1 or 2 here or there. This is a really nice book. This is a fine, so he's battling a Super Skrull. And this one's a really solid copy, really nice copy. And then we got Silver Surfer number 9 of the original series, volume 1. They had it listed at a very good minus. I mean, that's pretty good, pretty decent shape. It's a nice. Anytime you get that first volume of Silver Surfer, it's gonna be a decent book. Those are always nice to pick up. And then we've got a Spider-Woman book here, number 9. So you guys saw a bunch of those last week, so that kind of completes that 1 to 10 at least. And then I got a little short run of Marvel Spotlight. This is the second volume of Marvel Spotlight. It's number 1. It's Marvel Spotlight on Captain Marvel. And then here's number 2. So I bought all of these in a lot on eBay. Number 3. Number 4. Kind of a cool cover there. And then they threw this one in as well. This is number 5. So this is Marvel Spotlight on Dragon Lord. So it's a little different there. And then take the tape off that guy. I guess this is technically not a key, but we'll show it just kind of with the singles. This is Defenders number 1. So that's a really nice book. So obviously you guys know the Defenders is Hulk and Namor and Doctor Strange, and then Valkyrie joins in a few issues. I think she joins number 4. Actually, I have that book. That was a nice little pickup. This is Marvel Premiere number 2 with Warlock. This cover is a little more tan than what it looked like in the photos, but it's not like a big key or anything like that. So then next up we have the run of Machine Man. that I picked up. So here's number 1. So this is kind of a different book. This is Jack Kirby. I believe this is 78, so he had come back to Marvel at the time. He had left and then come back. And here's number 2. Number 3. So I believe there's like 19 issues in this run, or in this book, sorry. Number 4. Number 5. Number 6. And then I guess the keys here, I actually have 2 of these I picked up. Number 7s. So if you watched Captain and, I keep wanting to say Captain and Falcon, because that's the comic. But if you watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier this week, well, last week too, they mentioned the Power Broker. So this is the first appearance of the Power Broker, Curtis Jackson. My theory right now is that Curtis Jackson isn't the Power Broker on the show. It's actually Sharon Carter. After watching this week's episode and kind of seeing, it's just kind of weird how all of a sudden, she went from being basically, not basically, she was on the run, an outcast. She can't come back to the United States. And then they go over there and she's got priceless works of art that are real and she's entertaining clients. She's doing all this. It's just a little weird for me. And, as the first thing I thought was, could they kind of be playing with us a little bit and trying to make that the big reveal that she's actually the Power Broker. So I'm gonna say that there's a good chance that she is the Power Broker. It was a good episode this week. I really liked it. Zemo was the Zemo I wish we could have had in Civil War. I don't think there was so much going on in that movie that I don't think that it really had time for that character to really kind of shine. Not really develop, but shine. And now we're kind of getting that now, where he can kind of shine a little bit, and you get a little more in depth with him. Of course, he had the purple hood, which was great. So here's number 8. And honestly, I think so far, it's been really number 9. Let's show that number 9. I've really enjoyed it so far, and it's been 3 hours. Each episode's been just about an hour, so it's a little more than a movie. And then last, number 10. So that's really cool, that they've really kind of taken the time and really kind of, it allows them, I think the Disney Plus stuff allows them to get a little deeper into the characters, obviously, because they get this amount of time over so many episodes. So this looks like it's going to be 6 hour, like a 6 hour movie. Well, 6 hour movie, you can tell a lot of stuff. Look at Justice League, the Snyder Cut, which was great. It's phenomenal. If you look at that, obviously by adding those 2 extra hours made a completely different outlook on that movie. So, and I'm hoping for Justice League 2, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Okay, so now we're going to get into some of the Avengers books I picked up this week. Probably maybe 10 or 15 books here. This is 209. This one didn't actually come with a board in the back of it. I just got that one in the mail today. 267 with Kang there on the cover. 303. So these are all high number Avengers. I don't think I have any low number Avengers in this. And it's going to be in this show. 305. 311. 314. So I picked all these up at Titan Comics this week for a couple, maybe about $3 to $4 a piece. 315. 316. Kind of, they've gone to space. For the life, the Avengers versus the Hordes of Nebula for the life of Star Fox. 317. Cool Spider-Man cover there. 318. Nebula. 319. I really like this cover. And then 320. 323, sorry. I like that cover. So that's the Avengers books I picked up this week. They're all high numbers. Just kind of, once again, like I said, that's the book. That's the main big book, or main big series I'm working on, trying to finish up. So, you're going to see a lot of high numbers because, you know, I kind of get in a groove where I knock out a bunch of high numbers and then I'll go back towards the beginning, kind of knock out some of the lower books as I can. I'm fingers crossed I go to a Comic-Con this summer and pick up an Avengers 1. That would be awesome. So next book here is Giant Size Captain America, which I didn't have this. I actually thought I already had this book. And then I went back and looked through all my archives and everything I had, and I actually didn't have it. So I was happy that Jeremy had it so I could get it. It was a very fine minus too. It was a great copy. And then we got Captain America Annual number 5. It's a cool cover there with him throwing a shield. Number 6. Number 7. So these annuals there's a bunch of different books that have the annuals with these cubes. I'm not really sure, or at least kind of this style. I'm not really sure if there was a theme to this. I don't know. Drop it down in the comments if you know what that is. I don't really know. I've noticed the Avengers one had it, Thor had it, Iron Man has one, Cap has one. Most of them have one. And then finishing up the Cap annuals, number 9. So, really good books there. And then we're going to flip over to Master of Kung Fu. Got probably about 10 of these. Got number 18. So obviously, we talked about this when I showed number 17, that the book started special Marvel edition, and then goes 1 to 16, and then flips over to Master Kung Fu, The Hands of Shang-Chi, on for issue 17. So that was 18. This is number 19. Picked that up from Jeremy yesterday. This is number 20. Number 32. So I'm starting to get quite a few of the Kung Fu books. 36 and 51. So that kind of ends I think that ends the Kung Fu books. So some of these are kind of the keys. We'll run through the She-Hulk books real quick. We'll drop those and run through the She-Hulk books. So this is She-Hulk 12. And then this is 14. And then 15. And then number 16. This is number 18. Kind of like that cover. It says Dr. Doom, and it says Dr. Doom's 5th cousin. He's a dentist. That's kind of funny. And then 21. And 44. And then 51, and then she is battling the Savage She-Hulk on that cover with a bunch of pink elephants. So that was all the She-Hulk books. And then we've got, let's see, some of these we'll keep those two. I'll show these two here. So this was a different, start of a new series for me. This is Invaders, number 4. So this is Namor, Cap, and the original Human Torch, heroes from World War II. So I just kind of picked that one up just for fun.
Did you show him the trucker one?
I haven't got to that yet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And then we got Eternals number 6. So continuing on with the Eternals book. As hopefully we're getting close to a trailer, which I talked about this last week. I don't think we're going to see any kind of trailer poster stuff until they're 100% certain they're going to release Black Widow in July. Because if they're not going to release it in July, then they're going to push it back. And that means the other movies are probably going to get pushed back too. So I just don't see it happening until they know for sure, hey, we're going to release it in July. Let's flip over. So this is a series that I picked up this week. This is kind of one of those weird books. Well, it's not really kind of a weird book. It is a different book that Marvel would do. So this was when they would try to jump on a craze. So in the 70s and 80s, the trucker craze was pretty high with, you know, trucking and Convoy, C.W. McCoy's Convoy. So what they did was this is a 12-issue run, and I actually have all 12 issues. I discovered this. We were watching a documentary on some Marvel stuff on Disney Plus about some weird kind of out there characters, and they had mentioned this, and I jumped on eBay real fast, and I found the whole lot for fairly cheap. So this is US 1, and that is number 1. So this is Ulysses. What is it? Ulysses? I can't remember. It's something Archer. He's got a middle name too, but they call him US for short. So, I mean, it is. You can see. I mean, it is true. There's, you know, him driving the truck, and let's see here. See if I can find it here. Yeah, Ulysses Solomon Archer is his name, and they call him US for short. And I read a little bit of the first series, so I honestly, I didn't even know this series existed. So his parents die in the first issue, and then he is driving with his brother, and this mysterious black rig appears out of nowhere and runs them off the road. And his brother ends up kind of just disappearing. Like they don't really, he never finds him, anything. And there's this mysterious guy at the top that his brother was talking about, some urban legend called the Highwayman, which made me think of the Highwaymen, Chris Christopherson, Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings, and Willie Nelson. And then after the accident, and this is when it gets kind of weird out there, after the accident, he ends up having his entire skull, the top part of the skull, made out of this metal. And because the truck explodes and it kind of like blows off part of his top of his head. So he has this implanted into his head, and then he figures out, and this is when it gets funny, he figures out that if he touches the fillings in his teeth with his tongue, he can pick up CB broadcasts on his metal skull. It's not a joke, it's the truth. And he says here, he goes, ever since I got back to shortstop, there's been this strange buzzing in my head. Maybe the docs didn't do such a good job after all. Wait a minute, when I touch my tongue to the fillings in my teeth a certain way, the buzzing becomes clearer. I'm picking up CB broadcast on my metal skull. I can hear those truckers just as clear as if they were in the room talking to me. So his mission now is to find this mysterious highwayman and try to figure out what happened to his brother. And he finds him again in this issue, at the end of this issue. You can see it there. So he finds him again, and then he runs him off the road, and his truck goes down in a valley, but there's no explosion, there's no anything. And kind of the last part is him saying, I did hear a crash and I can't make out any wreckage below. Somehow I have a feeling we'll be hearing from him again. And he says, but if we do, I'll be ready. And that's kind of where the first issue ends. So I read a little bit of it earlier just because I was interested to see, you know, what it was really all about. So again, that's US 1, number 1. And then we've got US 1, number 2. And this must be a character that he meets in the second issue. It says enter the I don't know how you say that word. I don't know. There's a character called Midnight. That's all that matters. US number 1. This is number 3.
That's Malevolent, baby.
Okay. The Rime of the Ancient Highwayman. So he's gonna, obviously he's coming back. And then here's number 4. And this must be another character, because this character isn't in the first issue. Just when you thought it was safe to hit the open road again. And you got this guy here that looks kind of like the guy from Sonic the Hedgehog. He does. He looks like the guy that Sonic fights. And then here's number 5. So like I said, I got the entire run. It's 1 to 12. And this one's, he's bad, he's mean, he's Iron Mike, king of the bike. So he must have to fight some biker gang in that one. That's number 6. And then number 7, looks like Midnight again, so she comes back. And then number 8, number 9, number 10 says, "Who is the Highwayman?" Number 11, and then what gets really weird is the last issue, and I only know this because from the documentary, is the last issue ends up with him being in space somehow with his rig. Number 12, and you can see there it's flying through space. So it's going to be, I'll probably read, I might try to read through the whole series just to see. The first issue was kind of interesting, so looking forward to that. And then we'll run through this. So this is the other series that I got full run of. And I talked about, one of these books was in here last week, and I talked about it last week that I had purchased The Thing. So this is basically the full run of The Thing. So this is Thing number 1. And that's a pretty, I wouldn't say iconic issue cover or iconic cover, but it's pretty well known. Set these aside for a second. I got a place to put these. And then here's number 2. So we're just going to run through these kind of quick. Number 3, got the Inhumans on there. So obviously the Inhumans and the Fantastic Four, they've always kind of had their run-ins. Number 4, Lockjaw on the cover. Number 5, Wonder Man, She-Hulk, and Spider-Man on the cover. Number 6, number 7, number 8, number 9, number 10. So there's 36 books, I believe. Number 11, number 12, 13, 14, 15, we're getting there, 16, actually I have 2 of these because I had one previous, 17, 18, 19, and 20, 21, 22, I had one of these previous, 23, 24, fighting with the Rhino, 25, kind of reminded me of the Spider-Man cover, 26, 27, 28, kind of reminds me of, now he's a wrestler, kind of reminds me a little bit of Daredevil and his dad. 29, 30, 31. This is the book I showed last week, but I thought I'd throw in there again. 32, just because I had the whole run. There's 33, 34, and then probably the biggest key of this series is issue 35. That's when they get a new Miss Marvel. And this is the first time that Curtis Jackson is actually called the Power Broker. So what he would do is he would give serum to basically get people to take this serum that could make them have superpowers, and then once they got superpowers, if it didn't kill them, they would he would then trick them into believing that they had to keep taking it, so he would keep getting money from them, and then when they couldn't, then he'd send them to this wrestling federation thing that he owned to wrestle and make money off of that. And there's 36, so that's the full run of the thing. Picked all those up this week. Got the main of them in a lot on eBay for like less than $2 a book. So it was pretty good. Okay, so then we're gonna run through the last of our books tonight. A couple keys here, and then a couple slabs. So the first one here is Adventure into Fear with the Man Called Morbius, or Morbus. Yeah, Morbius, sorry. The Living Vampire. So this is number 20. So this is the first run of him solo. This was the first issue. So this Adventure into Fear started as just Fear, ran for a few issues, and then Man-Thing comes in, runs for like maybe 7, 8 to 10 issues, I think. And then he takes over for a while in issue 20. So obviously Morbius's first appearance is in Spider-Man 101. And he's got a movie coming out with Jared Leto. I think it's Jared Leto, yeah. And they've delayed that one too. And it's kind of loosely tied a little bit with the MCU. So we'll see where they're going to go with that. This one, I just bought this one because I thought it was cool. So Marvel would do a lot of their, so actually come what the next couple books are, I guess. So they, in the 70s and 80s, the horror craze kind of kicked up. And they, you know, obviously in the 50s and 60s, they had Strange Tales, Tales of Suspense, Journey into Mystery. They had those real kind of horror type books. And then they started, that's when they started picking up with the superheroes a little more. But they would still do some of these horror books from time to time. This one is Where Monsters Dwell. This is number 1. That was kind of a cool book. It says, it's no use. He's been frozen too long. We'll never be able to free him. And the bottom says, I brought Cyclops back to life. So I haven't actually read this, and I haven't read any of these. So this was something I stumbled upon, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll pick it up. That was kind of cool. And I've looked at a lot of these. There's not a whole lot of issues. It was real short runs. Where Monsters Dwell, the Fear books, what's the other one? Where Creatures Roam. There, I think there's another one. And they were short run books, and it was just kind of that old school Marvel kind of horror feel. And then this one is Godzilla King of the Monsters, number 2, Seattle Under Siege. And he's eating the Space Needle there. Looked like a cheeseburger or something. So I've been trying to get the first issue 1, but I'm having trouble finding it for a decent price. So that's kind of a cool book. And then we're gonna run into, I got two slabs here that are keys, and then I got 2 here that are pretty good keys that have to do with an upcoming movie. Or at least this one, I think there's probably a chance he may show up. So this is Marvel Premiere number 15, the first appearance of Iron Fist. And this is, the value stamp is intact. It's in this one. So this would probably grade around, I'd say probably between a 3.5 and a 4. It's not perfect, but you know, it's still a pretty good book. I have a feeling he could show up in the Shang-Chi movie, or maybe in a post-credit scene, or maybe in the second one if they do a second one. I think it'd be really cool if they did. You know, I know a lot of people didn't really like his Netflix show. I thought it was okay. Didn't think it was great. Thought it was just okay. And then speaking of Shang-Chi, this is Marvel, or Special Marvel Edition, number 15. This is the first appearance of Shang-Chi. So this is the Hands of Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu. So this is number 15. This is his first appearance. This book could be in better shape. But again, you know, when it comes to key books, sometimes you'd rather have the book in bad shape than not have it at all. And you can always trade up. You know, you got to try to trade up for some of the, to get, you know, even a 5 or a 6, or you're trying to get, maybe you're trying to get something really special with an 8 or a 9. You know, you buy a low grade, you trade up, spend another 100, 200 bucks, trade up, do it again, then before you know it, you got a really good book. But obviously with his movie coming out, this book's going to go up in value. It's pretty high as it is, but then when that trailer finally drops, this is going to be just like Black Panther #1. When that trailer dropped and first appearance of Black Panther, those books took a big spike. So that was a good book I picked up. So I got 2 slabs. You guys know I don't really do a lot of slabs. I might start getting some books slabbed that I have, just because it's kind of nice to know that that's what they are and they're protected well. So the first one I have, this goes along with Shang-Chi. So this is Tales of Suspense 50. This is the first appearance of the Mandarin, and you can see here it's a 3.5. So it's, you know, it's a low grade copy, but you know, it's still a pretty good copy. It's slabbed really nice. It's got some color breakage here on the bottom, but there's no big marks on the cover, which is one of the things that I don't really like. People taking pen and they marked or drawn on it, right? You know, wrote their names on it or circled stuff or tried to color in letters or anything like that. So, I mean, it's a nice solid copy. Sure, it'd be great if it was like a 9 or something, but I would rather save the $1,000 and buy a bunch of other books. You know, it's still a nice book. And then our last book for tonight, and this book is another 3.5, and I'm hoping that this character shows up in Guardians 3. They teased him in Guardians 2. This is his first full appearance, not to be confused with Fantastic Four 67. This is Thor 165. This is the first appearance of him, who later becomes Adam Warlock. Later becomes Warlock, then he becomes Adam Warlock, I guess I should say. And I love this cover. Thor's rearing back with Mjolnir ready to throw it. And this was another book that I got, that I bought slabbed, just because, you know, the price was really good. I paid like, I think I paid like 200 bucks for this, you know, so it wasn't outrageous. This book, obviously, this book has gone a lot higher, with the thought that he's going to show up in Guardians 3, even, you know, and Thor kind of being around there. And we've seen some stuff from Thor and Love and Thunder, the behind, you know, a couple shots here and there, and the Guardians are there. So, you know, could he show up in their 3rd movie? We don't know. But I have a feeling that he is going to show up, because they tease him at the end of 2, and it'd be silly for them to tease Adam Warlock and then never do anything with him. I know James Gunn might have. There was one of the comic book studios, or whatever you want to call them, on the internet, wrote an article and said that they were casting the role for that. They were looking for like a Zac Efron type, and then James Gunn went on Twitter and started saying about, oh, well, I don't know where you're getting your information and all this other stuff, but you know, that he's got to say that. He's got to say that. Marvel's so tight-lipped about their stuff, so he's got to say it. Doesn't really have much of a choice. It goes back to the girl that is playing She-Hulk in the Disney series. Like, not even a week before that was announced, they were on Twitter saying that she was, you know, she was going to be She-Hulk, and all they had reported on it. And she went on and wrote this big, you know, long explanation on how that wasn't true, and she didn't appreciate, you know, and it just kind of went on about it. And a week later, it announces in the Disney thing that she's going to be She-Hulk. So if they hit on something, if the scoopers or insiders, whatever you want to call them, they hit on something, Marvel's going to deny it, and that's just kind of been their MO now for the last 10 years or whatever it has been now. So I have a feeling he's going to show up, and this book's going to take a spike. So if you want a copy, you better jump on it now. I mean, they're already going for probably more than what they should. But it's, it's a 3.5. It's a solid book. I mean, it's low grade, but honestly, I think it's slabbed up really well. So I'm not really sure. It's got off-white pages, not a lot of color breaking on it. Looks like there could be maybe a little bit of staining or water damage right there. Or I can't tell if that is or that's I think it is a little bit. So that's probably what graded a little lower. But again, that's the beauty about having them slabbed, because there's a little bit on the back too. They put in that micro chamber paper, and then Gunner, what are you doing?
Come here, Bubba. Let's get some food.
This is Gunner kind of messing around. So they put in the micro chamber paper, and that helps kind of with some of that. So yeah, it's got a little bit, but all in all, it's still a good book. Still a nice copy. So that's it for tonight. As I remember, about 35 minutes in here, so obviously it was a lot of books. But I appreciate y'all watching, and hopefully you watched to the end. Appreciate that. So please like and subscribe to the channel. We're getting close to 100 subscribers. I think we're at 91 or 92 now, so we're getting close. I've been saying that the last couple weeks. We've slowed down. Excuse me. We got a whole bunch.
I need to shop more.
You don't need to shop more. We got a whole bunch there for a while, and then we've kind of slowed down. So we're still working towards 100. Maybe we'll do a giveaway or something at 100.
Yeah,
We could do a giveaway, maybe.
like a shiny sequin thing.
Yeah, maybe I give away a couple books or something too. So we appreciate it. Yeah, please slam the like button, hit the subscribe, hit the little bell if you would. We'd appreciate that. And we will see you next Saturday night on show number 9. I believe this is number 8. I think I was wrong last week. I said last week was number 8. It was actually number 7. So this is show number 8, and we'll see you next week on number 9. Hope you all have a great rest of your evening and a great Easter tomorrow, and a great week. We'll see you next time.